Have you ever wondered what would happen if you fell into quicksand? This is a question that has sparked the curiosity of many, thanks to its portrayal in numerous adventure stories and films. Quicksand, often depicted as a terrifying and deadly force of nature, has long been shrouded in mystery and misconceptions. From the idea that it can swallow you whole without a trace, to the belief that struggling only makes you sink faster, quicksand has been the subject of many a thrilling tale. But how much of what we've heard is true, and how much is mere fiction? How does quicksand really work, and what happens to those unfortunate enough to step into it? These are all intriguing questions that deserve our attention. So, prepare to have your misconceptions shattered as we explore the fascinating world of quicksand. Let's dive into the science behind quicksand and debunk some myths. So, what exactly is quicksand? Quicksand, an intriguing phenomenon, is a type of soil that is saturated with water and can behave like a liquid or a solid. It's not a unique type of sand but rather a condition that can occur in sandy soil, usually in marshy areas or near the banks of rivers and streams. Under normal circumstances, sand is quite compact. The grains stack tightly together, creating a firm surface. But when water is introduced into the equation, the compact structure of the sand gets disrupted. The water forms a sort of cushion around each grain of sand, separating them and causing the sand to lose its rigidity. This is where the science gets a bit complex. Quicksand is what we call a non-Newtonian fluid. Unlike water, its viscosity, or resistance to flow, changes depending on the amount of stress or pressure applied to it. When undisturbed, quicksand appears solid. Step on it, however, and the pressure causes the sand particles to separate further, turning the quicksand into a liquid state. But here's the catch. Once the pressure is removed, the sand begins to settle, and the quicksand starts to regain its solid-like state. This is why it's so tricky to move or pull something out of quicksand. It behaves like a liquid when you apply force. But as soon as you stop, it goes back to acting like a solid, trapping whatever fell into it. Interestingly, the more you struggle in quicksand, the faster you'll sink. The agitation of the sand further liquefies it, creating a sort of quicksand vortex that pulls objects down. But don't worry too much. Human bodies are less dense than quicksand, so you won't sink entirely, contrary to what the movies might have you believe. Now that we understand what quicksand is, let's explore what happens when something, or someone, falls into it. Ever thought about sinking into quicksand like you've seen in the movies? Well, think again. Let's dive into the reality of the quicksand effect. It's a common trope in adventure films. Our hero, trekking through an exotic locale, suddenly finds the ground beneath them giving way, sucked down into a pit of quicksand. But is this depiction accurate? Not quite. First, let's talk about buoyancy. Remember the principle of Archimedes? It states that a body immersed in a fluid experiences an upward force equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the body. Now, quicksand is a non-Newtonian fluid, meaning it doesn't behave like water or oil. It's denser thanks to a mix of sand, clay, and water. Because of this density, it actually provides more buoyancy than water. So, what's the implication? Well, humans float. We're less dense than quicksand. In fact, your body would only sink about up to your waist in quicksand. That's right, no dramatic sinking to your doom. However, don't start thinking you're off the hook just yet. Quicksand has a unique characteristic. It liquefies under pressure. What does this mean for you? It means that every time you struggle or move, you're applying pressure, causing the quicksand to become more liquid and thus making it harder for you to escape. Imagine you're stuck in a giant vat of thick honey. The more you struggle, the more stuck you become. That's the quicksand effect. It's not about sinking, it's about becoming immobilized. And once you're stuck, it's incredibly difficult to free yourself due to the suction effect of the quicksand. So, sinking into quicksand is not quite the death sentence movies make it out to be. But what should you do if you find yourself stuck? That's a topic for our next scene. Stay tuned, adventure enthusiasts, because understanding the science could be the difference between an exciting story to tell and a sticky situation. Stuck in quicksand? Don't panic. Here's what you should do. As counterintuitive as it may sound, the first rule of quicksand survival is to stay calm. When you panic, your body's natural fight or flight response kicks in, and this can lead to fast, erratic movements. In quicksand, these rapid movements can cause you to sink faster. Instead, try to move as slowly and deliberately as possible. Quicksand is a non-Newtonian fluid, meaning that it responds to stress and strain in unusual ways. The faster you move, the thicker and stickier it becomes. By moving slowly, you allow the sand and water mixture to separate, reducing the quicksand's hold on you. Now let's talk about creating space. This is crucial to escaping the quicksand's grip. Start by leaning back and spreading your arms and legs. This distributes your weight more evenly, preventing further sinking. Then, slowly bring one leg up to the surface. The idea here is to create a pocket of water around your leg, weakening the sand-water mixture. Once you've freed a leg, use it to slowly pull up the other. It's a slow and exhausting process, but with patience, you can gradually free yourself from the quicksand's clutches. Finally, once you're free, crawl or roll away from the quicksand pit. Don't stand up immediately, as the ground around quicksand can be unstable. Remember, knowledge is power. Understanding quicksand and how to escape it can save your life. Quicksand might not be the terrifying trap we often see in films, but it's still something to be wary of. Today, we've unraveled the mystery behind quicksand, delved into its curious science, discussed the effects on those who stumble into it, and shared vital survival tips. Knowledge is power, and understanding quicksand just might save your life one day. So the next time you're out adventuring, remember these facts about quicksand. Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay safe out there.